What up? What up, internet? Who you are, where you be, where you at, what you see. This is Pop Cult Parent, the spooky podcast where we talk about things to go bumping through the night. Today we're talking about very spooky things on this year's first Cult-o-ween celebration, blah, blah, blah. I am one of your hosts, Dark MF Bones, and I'm joined by...
I hate you so much. This is Niels, RY, aka You Don't Understand. She never sleeps. Excited to talk to y'all.
And Shannon, aka They All Float Down Here. You'll float too.
And today we're talking about our top 5 scary movie monsters. Don't worry, I'm not gonna talk like that for the rest of the episode. I thought I'd spice it up for All Hallows Eve, the Cult-o-ween. How do you guys like that? Trademark? What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. Great. Even better than the accent. Fantastic, Mark Jones.
We'll keep it
job.
then. Yeah, we're gonna get it's a list episode. We know you guys love that. It's good to be back. Good to talk to you guys about this spooky time, our favorite movie monsters. But hey, before we get into that, we have some fan mail. We have
right.
Yeah, we have
let's act like we get fan mail all the time.
Yeah, this is normal. Another fan. Oh, we have piles of this. But hey, real quick, listeners, please send us your questions, your comments, your concerns. You can email us at popcultparent@gmail.com. That's popcultparent@gmail.com. Please give us your name and where you are, writing from, and we'd love to shout you out, hear your comments, concerns, or you got a little hate mail, throw some hate mail. It's all good. We don't care. But hey, this question, guys, comes from a very long-time listener, Rory. Shout out to Rory. What's up, buddy?
Shout out, Rory. What up, brother?
Thank you for listening.
What it do?
Thank you for supporting the show. But this is his question, right? He says, Pop Cult, you guys in or out on Black Adam? Will you guys be there on opening weekend in theaters, or have you given up on the WB and the DCEU? Nels, you are our comic book expert. Why don't you start us off on this question?
Okay, I promise I'll give the short version because you said comic book expert, and I was about to go into the whole history of Black Adam, and folks don't really want that right now. So let me calm down. I'll answer the last question first. Am I out on the WB, DC, EU? The answer is yes, I've been out. I was out after I sat down and realized that I was trying so hard to tell people that Batman v Superman was a good movie when I knew in my heart of hearts it was not. But I was trying so hard to tell people that it was. And Suicide Squad did not help. So since then, anytime I enjoyed a movie, it has been a bonus because I am not dialed into the DCE. So I will say that. Am I watching Black Adam opening weekend? The answer is no. Will I watch it? The answer is yes. Now, the reason that I'm not sure if this movie's going to be bad, because these commercials, the trailers, the pubs, I tell you, it looks like it's going to be a great movie, but so did all these other DC.
So did everything else.
Did all these other DC movies. All of the trailers look great. And yes, they got one of my favorite actors in The Rock in a superhero movie. This should be everything, everything I want, like a Fast and Furious superhero movie. This is I'm like the target audience. The problem is I have been burned repeatedly over and over again with better IP than Black Panther and the Justice Society of America. So no, I'm not bought in. I'm not sold, but I will watch it at some point. Just like it took me 2 years to watch Aquaman and Shazam.
So you meant Black Adam, watched it, right?
What'd I say?
Black Panther.
Oh no, that's where my mind is right now. I'm completely focused on Black Panther. Yes, sure. Black Adam, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not probably gonna watch it in the theater. Unless it's 90 plus on Rotten Tomato. I'm probably not gonna watch it in theater. That's my answer though.
All right, Shannon.
Yeah. So I'm a little similar. I'm gonna watch it. I know I am. Like, let's be real. Any superhero movie, pretty much, like, I'm gonna watch it. There's a small chance I might go to the theater and see it. I might do that, but I know I'm not pressed to see it on opening weekend. And in all honesty, I have no problem waiting 30 to 45 days just for it to pop up on HBO Max, which I assume that's what's going to happen. That, to be real, even for the Batman, like, I saw the Batman on HBO Max. I never saw it in theaters. So I definitely can wait 30, 45 days, 60 if they try to stretch it out for this to pop up on HBO Max. So,
Shannon Smith, the MacGyver of seeing things, just seeing things. If there's a way, Shannon will find it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to be humble. I already saw it 2 weeks ago on
one of your favorite sites. Well, thank you for not spoiling us, Shannon. I appreciate that.
I oftentimes I ponder on Shannon, like on a Saturday night. He just cracks his knuckles, opens up his laptop, and you just hear the MacGyver theme song music. Shannon's like, I've been wanting to watch this movie for 3 years. I'm going to go here, go there, bam, there it is. Like,
Shannon's already seen Marvel's X-Men.
Yeah, hey, that's what I'm saying. Hey, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but I will say this has a great tie-in to Shazam 5, which I've already
Shazam 5.
It has a great tie-in. It all makes sense when you get there. I've seen that.
The executives are like, how does he keep doing it? The movie hasn't even been cast yet. Shannon's like already reviewing it. He's like, no, not for me.
Amazing. What about you, Mark?
Look, so Nels, I kind of agree with you, man. I'm kind of like where you are. This whole like Black Adam thing from the get-go, I was like, really? You're making a Black Adam movie? I was like, you got The Rock, the like biggest movie star in the world, and you gave him Black Adam. But apparently, he wanted to do this.
That's what he wanted.
That's what he wanted, and I agree with you, man. The trailers look decent. I mean, Dr. Fate looks pretty nice. Hawkman looks pretty nice. You know what I mean? What's the bro that grows big?
Adam Smasher.
Adam Smasher looks pretty nice. So it looks good, but I've been burned by the DCU so much that, like, I will not be there opening weekend. If it gets good buzz, I'll get to it when I get to it. That's basically how I feel about the DCEU right now. They have burned me so much that, like, if I get to it, I get to it. And if I don't, no big deal. So, but hey, I heard about a possible leak about the Stinger scene, and that excited me. And I'm hoping that we move from the whole Snyderverse and we're moving to, new things, a kind of like not classic DC, stuff, but like maybe like go a little retro with it. But wait, man, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm with you, like what you said, Nels. If it gets good buzz, if people are talking about it, I'll get to it, but I'm not dropping everything to go see this. Yeah. So,
and can we just acknowledge for a moment, I guess, how long this has been in the making, like in the public eye? Because, sometimes there are scripts that are made and they've been around for years, but we don't know about it till later. I feel like it was in 2012, maybe 2014, that it was known The Rock is playing Black Adam. Like, it wasn't I'd love to. The Rock will be playing Black Adam. It's been like 10 years. It's just like, when is this movie gonna happen?
Yeah.
It's been a long time. You are so right, Shannon. It felt like a decade. I heard The Rock somewhere say that it was 6 years, but like it must have been 6 years and them trying to get like a particular thing to happen, because we have known that he's wanted to be Black Adam. You're right, Shannon, for at least 10 years, it feels like anyway.
Yeah.
So,
and like known, and like I said, known, like not just, I'd love to
like
play
announced
if it ever came out. It was like, no, I'm going to be Black Adam. This movie's going to happen. It's been like 10 years.
And how did you not give this brother the ears? Like what? Yo, it could, I'm sure if you told him another $10 million, he would have been cool with the ears. How you going to have Black Adam without the ears? Whatever.
I will say he looks nice in this Black Adam hoodie, but My biggest thing
It would
was
look nicer with the ears. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
My thing was I knew Black Adam, and Nels, you tell me if I'm wrong. Black Adam is a villain. I don't think he's an anti-hero. As far as I know, he is a villain. He is a bad guy, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing: if you read DC Comics, one of the similar things that DC Comics has with Marvel Comics is that their villains are compelling. So like they have deep history and deep stories. And so like while you'll never cheer for Doctor Doom, you can appreciate Doctor Doom because Doctor Doom is such a compelling character. Yeah. Black Adam is very similar. He leads a nation called Kahndaq. He like uses his powers to rule that nation. So like many people could look at him and be like, what's the difference between him and Black Panther? Like some would argue there isn't a difference at all. But the other folks would argue is like, because Black Adam is killing folks, murdering, massacring people with no concern at all. And no one can stop him except for a teenage boy from Brooklyn and an alien from Krypton. Like those are the only two people that can stop this guy.
Now, see, okay, so he is a villain, though, right? There's no
He's a villain on the same level as Sinestro, and compelling character, but like he's a bad guy.
And that was my thing. I was like, yo, The Rock. I love The Rock. I feel like he has like the Will Smith thing going on where he's not going to be a unlikable character. He's not going to be someone you can not cheer for. So I was like, there's no way The Rock commits to being a full villain. So I was just like, what are we doing here? So Black Adam's going to be a good guy in the DCEU? Because just looking at the trailers, it looks like he's going to be an anti-hero, So, I don't know. I thought it was kind of a cop-out. If The Rock goes full villain, I would love to see that. I don't think it will happen. But, hey, let's see.
The closest we got was what? Fast 5?
No, Doom. Remember Doom? He was actually a bad guy.
He was. But hey, we don't talk about Doom.
No one talks about Doom.
We don't talk about Doom. But the closest we got was Fast 5, and that was arguably one of the best, if not the best, the Fast and Furious movie. So, but yeah, man. Thanks for the question, Rory.
Thank you, Rory.
I'm curious on how you feel about it, Rory. But yeah, so Pop Cult, if you have thoughts, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are on Black Adam.
All right. Do we want to get into this, Nels? Do you want to kind of let everyone know how we're going to do this?
Yes. So here at the Pop Cult, when we do lists, we have a particular way of doing lists. So each of us will say our list. We'll go from 5 to 1. And then we will mention our honorable mentions. And after each of us go through our list, and ideally we'll try not to interrupt each other. And, here and there, we've done a really good job of not interrupting each other when we do our list. And that, comes with experience. So thank you all for riding with us. But once we go through all of our lists, we will then see which ones we have in common, and we'll spend the majority of time talking about those items that we have in common. And so for this time, we're talking about the scariest movie monsters, our preference of the scariest movie monsters that there are. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. Shannon, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. Let's get into it. All right. So just as a repeat, what I'm doing, I'm just going through my 5, saying their names, and then we will go into conversation after that.
And then honorable mentions.
And then we will ridicule you, Shannon, because obviously with all these lists, you leave us dumbfounded. Shannon's lists always leave me in a state of just shock. but
this is the Christmas song episode all over again.
And then, but hold on, not to not have you off the hook. You'll bring up some stuff from 1948 and be like, no, that was really good. You guys don't know about that one? Like, come on, bro. So just to give you a jab as well. But anyway, Shannon, please.
Yeah. Hold up. I gotta defend myself.
I need to defend myself.
I gotta defend myself.
I do expect to see an Alfred Hitchcock movie coming from Mark.
I gotta defend myself.
The Crows.
Did you not?
The Crows.
Did you not rank either Friend Like Me or Prince Ali or the whole movie, the new Aladdin over the old Aladdin? I seem to remember there was an incident like that.
I don't recall.
Okay.
So
okay.
You don't recall? I do.
No, I did.
We got it on wax, Shannon.
I did do that.
All right,
All
brother,
right.
go ahead.
So my top 5, I would say, movie monsters, whatnot, scary. So coming in at number 5, Freddy Krueger. Coming in at number 4, Michael Myers of the Halloween franchise.
Okay.
Coming in at number 3, good old Pennywise from It.
Solid list so far, Shannon. All right.
No interrupting.
Coming in at number 2, Topsy and Bopsy from Lovecraft Country. Those are the two
those
girls.
are twins?
cut.
The killer
Yes.
Yeah, the twins. Yeah.
Nice.
And coming in at number 1, Candyman. At number 1.
Ooh.
Shannon.
Okay, Shannon Smith.
Yeah. A lot of
Like
humanoid
that list,
slashers in your list. I like it.
Yeah.
Nice list, Shannon.
Shannon, you got any honorable mentions?
So honorable mentions, what comes to mind is basically about anything from Amityville Horror, the early 2000s one.
Yep.
I just remember from the little girl who was like, here, basically put your finger in this bullet hole that's in my head to like, the jump scare and all that, like that movie.
I'm sorry.
Yep. Scary.
I'm sorry. That got me.
So I would say all of that is like my honorable mentions because especially earlier 2000, I watched a lot of horror movies and stuff, and it was fine. But there was something about Amityville Horror, like that one. I was like, okay, that one does something. I need to chill out there. So yeah, the Amityville Horror, I would say, is like my honorable mention there.
Nice. Cool. All right. Any comments before we move on to the next list? Besides a respectable list there, Shannon Smith.
Shannon, can you go through your list one more time?
Okay. Number 5, Freddy Krueger. Number 4, and I'll say this, I guess I'll say everybody knows, but number 5, Freddy Krueger from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Number 4, Michael Myers from the Halloween franchise. Number 3, Pennywise from It. Number 2, Topsy and Bopsy from Lovecraft Country, the show, which still should be, we should be in season 2 or 3 now, but that is neither here nor there.
Yes.
And number 1, Candyman.
Now, Shannon, let me ask you something. Was your choice? How did you pick your list? Because I'll just say my list. I try to balance it from what scared me as a kid and what I think tested the test of time. Did the act of playing Candyman as a kid, like going into the bathroom and saying candy, like, is that what like contributed to your ranking him number 1?
Yeah, I'll say till this day, like I still would not go into a mirror and say his name 3 times.
Yeah,
I won't say his name 3 times.
You're saying
in a sentence, and not even in this podcast. Not even in this podcast.
Shannon started counting like, all right, we said it a little too many times.
No, I still won't say Beetlejuice 3 times. So Lord knows I'm not saying Candyman 3 times.
All right, that's number 4. Yeah, we're done. Oh man! All right, love the list, Shannon. All right,
good list, Shannon. Good list.
Thanks.
So, Mark, I'll go next, and you can bring us home.
All right.
Okay, so my list and context. So similar to Shannon. No, wait, I don't know if it's similar to Shannon. My list is based off of what scared me and what continued to scare me well after I finished watching the movie. So like would come up like a month later, I'm in the middle of it like, that is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about legit fear of these fictional characters. Anyways, number 5, I'm going to call it the STD in It Follows. So the movie It Follows. Number 4, the character's name is Lily. And the movie that she is a part of is the first section of the movie called Amateur Night from a movie called VHS. So Lily, if you remember, is the girl that says, I like you. In Amateur Night at VHS. Okay. Number 3 is Chucky. from the Child's Play movies. Number 2 is the Zuni Warrior doll from a movie called Trilogy of Terror 2. If you are a member of the pop cult, you probably grew up and may have had or stolen USA. And almost like every other Saturday, USA showed horror movies like on Saturday nights.
Yep. USA Up All Night.
Up All Night. One of their original movies was called The Trilogy of Terror 2. It was a sequel to a 1975 movie called Trilogy of Terror that had 3 scary movies in one. And the last one in that trilogy was called Zuni Warrior. He was known as the He Who Kills. It was an African doll with teeth and a knife. That sucker scared the mess out of me. Still does to this day. And the number 1 all time in my list is Pennywise from It. Now, Pennywise is number 1. Honorable mentions, we have Jaws, the shark from Jaws.
the shark.
Not
Bruce the shark.
I don't know what else you're afraid of in the movie, but the shark. Could be the cop, could be the explosion.
The Kevin? The shark got doll's eyes, black eyes. I was kind of scared of that guy.
That guy's a little scary too. Jigsaw. And if we get to it, I'll tell you more about why I'm legit afraid of Jigsaw. And like this guy, why am I afraid of this 70-year-old man with asthma? No, it's because this man he's crazy. And then, everybody like kind of lumps in the slasher villains, but like to me, the top dog is Michael Myers. So Michael Myers gets my honorable mention list on there. So yeah, man, that's my list. Folks, reactions to it?
Nice list. Nels, your list is a lot more deep cut than I thought, man.
Because I'm telling you what scared me.
Yeah.
This is what scares me. There's a theme. Dolls, clowns, things that are not supposed to scare you, but are scary. This is sex, dolls, and clowns.
Sex, dolls, and clowns. I love how you dubbed the entity from It Follows as the STD. Just I'll say I do not remember Trilogy of Terror. I don't remember that.
It's a deep cut, brother.
Okay, but I do remember USA Up All Night ruining plenty of my nights in childhood. Like
that was one of them.
What a time to be alive. But
yes. Shout out to Elvira, by the way. Shout out Elvira.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what else was a good place to see horror back in the day, man? Forget his name, but remember TNT did Monster Fest?
Yeah, wow.
You remember that? They did Monster Fest Saturday nights. Oh man, the 90s, man. The 90s. And I tell you, man, that's just one thing. Look, I'm not one of those people like the younger generation won't know, blah, blah, blah. But just the spontaneity of like TV and just sitting down and not knowing what you're going to watch and it's scaring the like crap out of you as a child. And then having to do that dance where you turn off the light and then run like hell to the bedroom.
Yep.
Just like, man, like it was great. It was great. It will be missed. But I'll get into my list.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you right now, my honorable mentions is long. All right.
Of course it is.
It is. Pop Cult, I have a hard time with these lists. That's why Nels does them, because I have a hard time making these lists. But my honorable mentions is long because I just kept moving people and changing things. But I'm gonna get into my list. So number 5, I have The Blair Witch. All right. Number 4, I have The Terminator, specifically from Terminator 1. All right. Number 3, I have a tie between the clowns from Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Pennywise from It. It's the 90s It. That I don't, man, we'll get into it. Number 2, I have Jaws. And number 1, I have The Thing. The Thing, just, man.
There it is. Right. Respects.
Here's my honorable mentions. And I feel like you guys are going to get more enjoyment out of my honorable mentions than my list. But here's my honorable mentions, right? Audrey 2, the plant from Little Shop of Horrors. The Death Angels.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
That thing scared Seymour. That thing scared the hell out of me, dog. I did not like that plant. I did, and he was always so
horror movie.
He was always so close to it. I was like, it's gonna eat you, man. Get up. He's like, oh, what do I do out here? Oh, Seymour, you gotta feed me. Like, and then
that was the most flamboyant villainous creature ever.
Look, have y'all seen Little Shop of Horrors? Like the movie?
Yeah.
Yes, brother.
Okay. Do you know like the ending is different than the Broadway play ending? Okay, do yourself a favor and go look at the real ending of Little Shop of Horrors. They made it in the movie. Basically, the plants take over the world, and it's just like the last 5 minutes is a bunch of Audreys like rampaging through New York. And it's like, don't feed the plants, don't feed the plants. Ruined me.
That actually sounds kind of dope. I might need to watch that.
It is.
That sounds kind of dope.
All right. So Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors.
Shout out to Steve Martin, because that was the only time I remember seeing him.
Oh yes, he was the dentist.
Yes.
Yeah.
High on his own supply.
You'll be your dentist. Yes. He kept doing that. Oh baby.
and I remember for me that one came out of nowhere, because like I was little when I saw it, and I knew nothing about the Little Shop of Horrors. Didn't know the musical, this and that. And it was like a Saturday, and it came on something like Fox or ABC or something, like random on like Saturday.
UPN on a Saturday afternoon, and it scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, the same block as like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah.
That same block of time. Yes.
The Deaf Angels from Quiet Place, the Babadook,
Dope.
Anything that talks like a Pokemon just scares me. I don't know if y'all remember this movie, Invaders from Mars. They're like these meatball monsters with teeth, and their leader looked like Krang from Teenage Mutant. You remember this, Nels?
Yes, I do remember it. That came around the time as like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yes, it was like
around
that
time. Yeah,
he found like a hole in the ground in his backyard, and it was like that. All right.
That was scary. That was scary.
Pumpkinhead. Oh, Pumpkinhead. The aliens from Signs. The Blob, specifically the Blob from the 80s movie, The Blob. Freddy Krueger. The aliens from War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise movie. That just, they got me. Snoop Dogg and Bones.
Respectable. Wow, Mark.
Snoop Dogg and Bones. I was like, I do not like this. I do not.
All you need is Pam Grier. You're fine. Just get Pam Grier.
I wasn't ready for that, dog. That movie really got me. And then, I'm going to see how you think. My last honorable mention, but probably the best, Tupac at the end of Juice.
Yes!
Tupac at the end of Juice.
The scariest villain on this
scared
list.
the crap out of me as a kid.
Yes. Tupac and Juice is by far one of the scariest beings out of anything that we've talked about.
I don't know what it was.
The last 20, 30 minutes of Juice?
Yeah, man.
It became a horror movie.
He had nothing to lose. He was
dog.
Just
when he's chasing homeboy, and I don't know why. What really scared me is when he gets in the elevator. He's like,
the elevator. That's the scariest scene.
You gonna shoot me in the elevator? He's like, yeah, dog. He would not stop. I don't know. That scared me. Juice. The last 10 minutes of Juice scared the crap out of me.
Folks will never understand. Juice started off as like an update to Cooley High, and then it turned into like a Boys in the Hood, and then it turned into a horror movie. It turned into the Terminator at the end.
Yeah, it turns into like a Michael Myers Terminator movie at the end. Bro, I remember watching Juice on like BET, like After Dark as a kid, and like being terrified. And it was just Tupac. It's just Tupac chasing Omar Epps, right?
Tupac with a gun.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. That's all you need. That's
great list, Mark. Great. Mark, I gotta say, I appreciate your list. It's unorthodox, but it wasn't off the rails like I've seen you do in the past. Like, it's a respectable list. We're obviously gonna talk about Pennywise, y'all, because Pennywise made it on all of our lists. Can I ask, Mark, you putting Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Pennywise, both at the 3 mark, did that solidify a fear in clowns maybe for you?
I'm not afraid of clown. I'm not. I don't. I like when people. I try not to be insensitive to like people's plights and their. When people are like clowns scare me, I'm like, come on, dog, you grown ass man. Like like. But I'm not afraid of clowns. But something about those clowns and Killer Clowns to Outer Space. It was just it was so stupid.
They had fun killing. They really enjoyed killing.
It was so stupid, but like they were so dangerous, and I didn't like it. I just and I felt what gets me in horror is when the sense of like there's no place safe, there's no place safe to hide or nowhere to go, and like I felt like in that movie, like it didn't matter. You could be with a group of people, you'd be hiding. I felt like the clowns just kept coming and kept getting people. So it just really, I didn't like it. And the makeup on those clowns was horrifying. Yep. And then Tim Curry as it really didn't scare me. I thought he was creepy, but like that spider monster thing at the end and just the end of that movie, like when the boy gets sucked into the tube and seeing the death lights and stuff, it just, so that whole experience just like, I did not like. I mean, I love the movie, but it terrified me. But Tim Curry, shout out to him, legend, and nothing to take away from the new what's his Skarsgård.
Yeah,
I like his performance as Pennywise. I love those movies. Like I love watching.
No, he did a great job. Like the Tim Curry was just a different experience.
It's just a
different experience, and it was in the 90s.
Yeah,
it was like when we were 4.
Yeah,
we had no business watching those movies.
But yeah, so it's not a clown thing, man. They just both were just. It was just good makeup and I think performance, and it just got me. You know.
Well, since we're talking about it, let's talk about Pennywise, y'all.
Yes.
So, Mark, it was your number 3. Shannon was your number 3.
Yeah,
it was my number 1. So, Mark, you talked a little bit about it. Shannon, you want to talk a little bit about Pennywise, and I'll bring us home.
Yeah. So I think something that stands out there too is because Pennywise's like thing was fear. Like, whereas I think some of the other people, like maybe your Michael Myers or something like that. Like Michael Myers is like, I'm trying to kill you. Like, I don't know, because of something that happened or you know, whatever it is.
Because it's Halloween.
Yeah. Really, like it's Halloween. And you know, like some of the other ones, like, yeah, there's a particular person maybe that I'm trying to kill, and I might kill a bunch of people along the way, but I have a goal. Pennywise was like, I feed on fear. Like, I want you to be afraid. And so I'm just going to kill as many people, scare as many people, you know, this and that. And then even, you know, when he disappears, I'm going to be back at some point. You just don't know when. And that's just a scary feeling. Yeah. And I was going to throw this in because I think the other thing. Sort of the other thing I look at about Pennywise is it's something, because when you look back at some of the stuff, or even if you look at what the 2019 or whatever it was, or maybe it was 2017, but you know, the more recent one, as well as, you know, the older one, depending what time in your life, like especially when you saw the older one, we were little kids and that thing was horrifying. And then you look back now, it's still scary, but you're like, oh, I see some stuff that's sort of funny. Like, you know, just like the clown is like funny, but then yes, creepy at the same time. You know, like, oh, I'm laughing and I popped a balloon. You know, like a little goofy chuckle, and then you go and do something gruesome. So yeah, Pennywise was something else. Yeah. And let's be real, very iconic. The memes that came at least from, like I said, the more recent one, like going down in the gutter or whatever in the sewer.
Hey, Georgie.
The dancing clown.
Yeah.
Well, so thank you, Shannon. I don't know if folks in the pop cult know this, but if you've known me for a long time, you've probably know, especially if you knew me in high school, you know that I'm afraid of 2 things. I had a fear, I should say, of 2 things: clowns and mascots. Those were the things that, like, I have since grown out of it, that like I won't run away if I see a clown. But for a very long time, I was afraid of clowns and mascots. And what solidified my fear in clowns were 3 things. 2 were the 2 movies that we just talked about, It and Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And the third one was, a long time ago, my amazing mother took myself and my sister to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. She must have got some good seats because we were close to the front. And there was a section of this experience when the clowns came out. And the clowns ran up to me. And one of the clowns picked me up and started throwing me in the air and catching me. And all I can remember is like as a 3-year-old was just going and then seeing the clown's face. I'm in the air, motionless, and just falling towards the clown's face. And then catching me and me flying up in the air and falling towards the clown's face repeatedly with no control and no understanding of when this would stop. And then after that, I saw killer clowns from outer space. Needless to say, I had a long-term fear of clowns. I have no problem admitting this. I have never watched from beginning to end the 90s because it had scared me so much I could never watch from beginning to end. I've always seen certain sections and parts, but I've never sat and watched either parts the whole way through.
Nels, I said earlier, I never understood people's fear of clowns. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. That is
makes perfect sense. That is trauma. That little boy,
please put me down.
Please, three on this. Please put me down.
Why are you happy giving me pain?
I don't want to bother
Why
you.
do you
sir.
enjoy my fear? And then I see a movie that explains why he enjoys my fear.
My mom's right there, sir. You could just put me down and this could all be over.
It's not fun.
He's like getting stronger. The more afraid you get, he's just getting stronger.
He gets higher. Nils is like up in the rafters with like the trapeze art.
Eating off of your fear.
Hey, little boy.
The one thing about Pennywise, though, if y'all remember, I think it was in both parts, but one of the kids has asthma. And he's like, battery acid. And it was like the only thing that could like stop Pennywise. Growing up, I had asthma. So please believe I carried my inhaler with me everywhere. Everywhere? Everywhere. I carried my inhaler with me everywhere. Because I was like, just in case, you never know. You never know what's going to pop out of the gutter. Got to have my battery acid on deck. So anyways, that's my favorite Pennywise.
Oh my gosh.
That's why he's my number one all-time
Oh my gosh.
Awesome. Yeah. So we have
sense.
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all understanding.
No, that's understandable, dog.
So we got a couple other things on here that I think are worth talking about. Can we spend a few minutes on Jaws, y'all?
Yes.
So Jaws made my honorable mention, and Mark, you put Jaws in number 2. So I'll start. I think this is a common trait for really good horror movies. And there's 2 that I will name that are like exceptional horror movies that like people may not quickly classify as a horror movie because of the level of classic it is. And those 2 are Jaws and The Thing. Funny enough, the top 2 on Mark's list. I'm sure a lot of people won't mention when they hear Jaws, and I'm like, what kind of movies is Jaws? They'll say a classic, but they won't say it's a horror movie. But Jaws is very much so a monster flick. There is a killer shark that is bloodthirsty, seeking these guys on a boat and trying to kill them. And like, what I appreciate is just like, it is, if it's not the best, it's one of the best monster flicks I've ever seen. To this day, Jaws holds up.
It holds up.
It's really good.
It's
the
a
music
good
is phenomenal.
movie. It's just
a good movie.
Yeah.
It's, I think, Mark, you may have said this before. It's like one of the first horror movies you saw that like took itself seriously. And that's why it was like a good movie in general. But like, if you consider it a monster flick, I'm going to have to think really hard on what's a better monster flick than that. Because like, it is one of the best monster flicks I've ever seen. Anyways, Mark, those are my thoughts on Jaws.
No, and so like I feel like I have a slight I don't know if I can pronounce this self-diagnosed like slight case of like I think it's thalassophia, which is like if I'm saying it right, it's like a fear of big bodies of water, and I feel like that can be connected to when I first saw Jaws. Like I'm not scared of swimming and stuff like that. But when I get into like a lake or like the ocean, I get nervous being in like a big body of water. And I feel like that could be traced back to when I first saw Jaws. But yeah, like Nels, like you said, like Jaws, it's just a good movie. It's just a really good movie, well directed, but it's scary, man. It's scary. And I know it's not like maybe what today's horror, but it's just guys on a boat. It does a good thing that horror does. It's like I think the best horror movies have rules, right? There's rules. Mm-hmm. Like it follows, like you have sex with someone, comes after you, or Quiet Place, you have to be quiet. Jaws kind of did that. It's like you're on water, it's a shark, you're stuck here. It's an isolation movie. And it has great characters, and like the shark still holds up. Like it still holds up. And I feel like the fact that it looks like a robot shark is what makes it scary. Mm-hmm. Like it just looks lifeless and mechanical, and that's what makes it scary. But yeah, man, my dad was telling me about Jaws when it came out when he was a kid, and he said like Jaws had people scared to take baths.
Oh, damn.
No, he's like, and my mom was telling me she remembers people being scared to go into swimming pools because of Jaws. And I'm
that's
just
how you know you made a good ass movie.
That's how you know you made a good movie.
Yeah,
and
any body of water, man-made tub, field,
looking at his cup of water, like, oh no,
oh no, cup of water, eating your cereal, like checking around your Cheerios.
Yeah, but something about it that sort of stands out is like you were saying, like with the rules are just different things with some of the other movies too. I mean, they're like, okay, if this were to happen, yeah, like anything could happen anywhere. Like if aliens are coming down, it don't matter if you're in your house, whatever, it could happen. I feel like the reason I was able to sort of put Jaws in a different light, like, yes, it is a classic, like everything we said, but as some of that fear didn't exist of that because I was like, I'm never getting in a big body of water like that. When I go to the beach, it goes to my waist, to my chest. I think I'm quick enough to get out of the water. I'm never going to be deep in water to be affected by this.
Yeah, I haven't seen the sequels.
Yeah. And I know, right?
Josh coming right up to you, brother.
Josh coming to your house, Shannon, and ringing your doorbell in the sequels, dog. But it's funny, like a movie I enjoyed Deep Blue Sea. Did not scare me like Jaws did. And I think the CGI sharks is the key. I think the tangibleness of like the practical effects of Bruce the shark, which they nicknamed Jaws, it does something, man. It's there in real life. These actors are fighting this real life monster robot shark. They're getting eaten by this monster, and it just terrified me as a kid, man. It's one of my favorite movies, man. If anyone has never seen Jaws, do yourself a favor. The Blu-ray cut of Jaws is beautiful. Just like
it's worth the hype.
Yeah,
it is worth the hype. Like,
one of the greatest movies of all time.
You need to watch. There's a reason you still hear dun dun. Like there is a reason behind all of it. Watch Jaws. Yes, watch it if you haven't already.
Did Sharknado not fear? No.
I actually never seen any of the Sharknadoes. I've seen like clips, but I've never seen one Sharknado.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised by that, Mark, because you'll check out something corny just to laugh. So I'm a little surprised you haven't seen Sharknado. That's what's up.
I'm messing. I haven't seen Sharknado either. You know what? Sooner or later, this is going to come out. But since we're talking about weird, scary movies, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. Way back in the day, I think it was part 1, Human Centipede. It was horrible. It was so disgusting. I kept hearing people talk about it, but you're like, it's that thing of, oh, this is horrible. It's like the bad milk in the fridge. Oh, this is horrible. Taste it. Well, yeah, let me.
Yep, Shannon. In the 2000s, early, I don't know, Shannon. I feel like the 2000s were like, oh, isn't this extreme hardcore horror? Look at you pulling his eyeball out in their Human Centipede. They gotta eat each other's crap. Oh, that's horror. And like, I don't know, man, stuff like that. It rubs me the wrong way because I'm like, that's not horror. That's just a snuff film,
Yeah.
And you know what? We all watched it. We all watched it. And we all were like, oh my God, look at those walking. So yeah, I didn't find it scary. I did laugh though. I did laugh at all of that. So yes, that is hilarious. So we talked about Jaws. One other thing we've all talked in common. I don't know if y'all feel comfortable grouping all of these. So maybe this could just be a larger conversation in general, but Michael Myers was mentioned a few times. Freddy Krueger was mentioned a few times. Funny enough, I actually don't think anybody mentioned Jason or Leatherface, but Jason and Leatherface, they're all like in this little group of like, you know, the historical hierarchy of like slasher movies and like folks who do that. Now, I only named one in my honorable mention, which I think is the greatest of all of them, which is Michael Myers. That's my opinion. That's my hot take. And I'll tell you why. But I think it would be cool. The pop code would probably like to hear us talk a little bit in like just quick fashion about like some of these slasher folks. So I will say this. I was afraid of Freddy Krueger. I was afraid to go to sleep. Like I had nightmares, pun intended, about like Freddy Krueger. So like I want y'all to know I was like legit afraid of Freddy Krueger. I was not that afraid of Jason because I wasn't going to go camping. Like number one. And number two, Jason clearly had an issue with teenagers having sex. Like premarital sex was Jason's thing. He's like, all right, nah, I can't get none. Y'all can't get none. So like his like issue was premarital sex. Like, cool, understood. But Michael Myers, that man just was like, everybody can get it. Like everybody can get it because 'tis the season. It's Halloween. This is my time. I trained 365 days for this night. Everybody's going to get it. And I have a big ass machete and anybody can get it.
But my thing with Michael Myers, it was just, so first, let me just talk about Jason. I don't know. I felt like with Jason, I thought it was easy. I'm like, okay, just don't take your eyes off him. He doesn't run. Never take your eyes off him. Walk backwards till you can, at a good pace, until you can get to a safe place or a car. It's just, people would always make the mistake like, that's Jason. And turn around. He's gone. Like, I'm like, yo, just never take your eyes off that dude.
Michael Myers didn't run. Does Michael Myers run?
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't run either.
But here's my thing about Michael Myers. I was like, well, just don't hang out with Jamie Lee Curtis. just stay away from her every Halloween and you'll be okay. Just people flock to this woman on Halloween. It's like, you know her history. You know the history of her family. Stay away from her on Halloween. Every Halloween, like, hey, I'll see you November 1st if you make it. Like, stay away from that town on Halloween. I never understood.
Yeah, I gotta say, I like your logic there because I too have never come into contact with Jamie Lee Curtis, and I have never run into Michael Myers. So I think that's sound logic.
It really is, and I hate you for that because it makes complete sense. Why are you around this woman? You know what happens. You know what happens every year for over what 40 years almost.
Here's how every Halloween movie should go. It's like, hey, never catch your brother that like tried to kill like everyone 30 years ago? No? All right, I'll see you later. That's how every Halloween movie should go. They catch your brother yet?
I'll see you at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
If you're still around, I'll see you then. I swear they've killed Michael Myers at least 4 times. I'm pretty sure I've seen 3 times. Busta Rhymes survived Michael Myers. Shout out to Busta Rhymes.
He did.
I've seen Michael Myers get hit by a truck. I've seen his head get cut off. I've seen like someone ingest his brain. That might have been Jason, actually, now that I think about it. But like I've seen him die a number of times and he still comes back with the William Shatner mask and everything. But Michael Myers, it's not necessarily that like he doesn't run. It's how he kills people. It is very volatile and efficient. Yeah. He's not trying to put on a show. Yeah. He's like, all right, got you. On to the next one. He don't even bask in his victory. He just moves on to the next one. It's just like efficient. Freddy is like the Spider-Man of like slashers. He's gonna talk smack while he's getting you. Yes. He's gonna talk smack while he's killing you, and then he's gonna glorify the fact that he killed you for like at least 5 minutes after he does it. Yeah. So like it's a very different spectrum than the man who never talked. I ain't never heard a sound come out of this dude, and he is just like, Gotcha. All right. Moving on to the next one.
Freddy himself didn't scare me. What scared me was he could get you while you were asleep. I was like, then I'm never safe. Right.
Yeah.
And then that when you were asleep, he had basically like Bugs Bunny powers. He could do whatever he wanted. He was basically the Mask when you fell asleep. He could do whatever he wanted, how he wanted to do it. I was like, that's horrifying. So like Freddy could have looked like, he could have, I don't know, he could have looked like Tay Diggs. And I would have like still terrified of him.
Yep.
Yeah. With Freddy, I think so. For me, he was number 5. And I think what stood out there was like as horrifying as he was and stuff. As I got older, I was like, Freddy's funny. Like there's a lot of stuff that was sort of hilarious as well, in terms of like the smack he talk and just different things. And so he was almost. I mean, I think he was more scary, but it was like this many parts funny and this many parts like horrifying. And I don't know if there's like another big horror figure that is that many parts funny, So I'm like, that's why he was like number 5, because it's horrifying. It's like looking back, there's a lot that was funny or like, sort of laughable. Even though
I will say though, New Nightmare was legit scary. Like that New Nightmare, like I think he was still talking smack here and there, but he didn't have the hat. He wasn't very braggadocious. He was out here just like trying to scare the mess out of you and then viciously kill you.
Was that like, the remake, Nels, or the?
No. They like did like this like kind of meta version of a movie called like New Nightmare. And it was talking about like the fact that Wes Craven was making all these movies about Freddy, but then there was like a real Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
And they even went to go talk to the guy who played Freddy. And he was like, yeah, man, the movies are crazy, ain't they? Glad it's not real. And then Freddy kills him. Yeah. So like that one was legit scary. All right. And Leatherface, I mean, was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The reason I found Leatherface scary, I didn't really watch a lot of the Texas Chainsaw movies because, I feel like part of it was just racism. But like, I feel like Leatherface was giddy, laughing, and running around with a chainsaw. That scene itself is scary. Like this big old dude with a Leatherface keying with a chainsaw. That's not my jam.
The thing that scared me about Leatherface, it wasn't even so much him, it was his family and just situations of being like isolated with crazy people and you have no out or no help. That terrifies me. So like that's what scared me. Like the whole family and like
have eyes.
Yeah. Stuff like that just like terrifies me, man. Where you're like, oh, we're not operating in normal society rules anymore. You're all crazy. I have no way to get help. Like that terrifies me. So that's what really got me with Leatherface.
Agreed. Okay. So we talked a little bit about, well, I think now we can talk about our number ones. So Shannon, do you want to talk a little bit about the man who has candy in front of it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, as everyone knows,
Kit Kat man.
The honey man.
Yeah, I think because I think I'm up to 2 times already, having said the name. So yes, that guy. So as I said, like for real, I never did that as a kid. I mean, I didn't do Bloody Mary in the mirror either, but I definitely didn't do that. His in the mirror, none of that. And a couple things about that. So as I think about the original movie, I know I saw the original movie as a little kid. And, it's like I don't remember all the things and stuff. Like I clearly remember, the lead actor and everything. But the original movie to me, it's like one of those urban legends, which is, well, I mean, just like him, he was like an urban legend there. But one of those urban legends, because it's like, whether you've seen it or not, like, the gist of what happens. And again, what not to do. Like there are plenty of kids who will still, who are like, I haven't seen the movie. Know about it. Say,
if
go
you
ahead.
Get got by the candy man, you had it coming.
Yes, exactly.
You had no business effing with that dude or anything around.
Yeah, exactly. And so, so it's got that type of effect with it. I also I mean, this part isn't, I guess, this scary, but I also like how it is horror, and in both parts. Well, I say both parts. I don't know a whole lot about Candyman 2, number 2, but I know
it was exceptionally better.
Was
just
it?
to let you know? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Better than the original first one, you said?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
brother.
I got to check it out.
It was. Yeah.
But I was going to say, I definitely know, like, you know, they tend to hit on like racism and all those types of things. So I think that even with it being a horror movie, like that's pretty dope to do that. I mean, you're doing it in a horror way, but you're still hitting on racism, gentrification, prejudice, all these types of things. And I saw the recent one, the 2021.
Yeah, how was that one? I haven't seen it.
It was a little different in those. I mean, it still did the thing. It really hit on racism, gentrification, all this type of stuff. It really hit on it hard. It did something where you knew he existed. So it wasn't like a complete almost origin story or, oh, this is the first time this evil has existed. Like you knew he existed, but it's like they hadn't seen him and it was arguable. This is an urban legend. And then the guy in the movie, he slowly starts turning into him. And again, you know, fine, little small spoiler. The original actor, he even makes a cameo at the very end. So I was like, this movie, I like this. This was good. So
I love that actor. I love his role in Rock. He's like, dude, you listen to a Rocket Man? I don't listen to soft shit.
Great actor. So I will say this, Shannon, I don't know when the last time you've seen the first version of this movie is, but it does not age well. I will say that. If you watch the first one again, you're like, what is the plot? It's like, it makes no sense. You don't really understand how it ends. Like she was in like a trap house apartment in Chicago and she comes out and you're like, what just happened? But the second one, from what I remember, I haven't seen it in a while, but the second one, you actually get the origin story of the Man of Candy. You actually get like a plot around the story and like it goes deeper into the plot. You actually understand why that character is connected to the Man of Candy. And like, it just all makes sense. And it's scary the entire time. And you get my favorite, dumb young white people testing the supernatural beings and the rules that follow along with them. Like, mwah.
They just have to. They can't help themselves.
Can't help it.
They gotta roll up their sleeves. Every horror movie, white people just roll up their sleeves. Like, let me get a look at this. Something's not right here. Let me just check this out.
The trifecta, all the things you need in a good old slasher flick. that was in the second one. So you should definitely.
If it wasn't for Karen's, horror movies in the 80s wouldn't exist.
True. Yeah. I'm like, as you can already see, like what's happening here. Like, look, we know the rules. Nothing's gonna happen. We're not gonna explore it. It's like, oh, I heard a sound. Just like then, I froze for a second. Y'all about to be like, okay, podcast over. Everybody go home. We're not gonna look for Shannon.
No. Until the sun comes up, we ain't looking for this brother.
Terrible.
We just know if we don't hear from him in 2 days, we're gonna send Julia an email and just be like,
have you gone downstairs?
I want to check your basement. I don't know.
Seen your all right. Man. Well, Mark, we have The Thing on your list. Another one of the movies, again, that is a classic. It's a classic Stephen King movie. Classic. Is it John Carpenter who directed this?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
I'm almost positive John Carpenter directed this. So we got a classic director working with like a classic story from Stephen King. And then, of course,
John Carpenter.
Kurt Russell.
And Kurt Russell.
You got Kurt Russell, John Carpenter, and Stephen King. Anytime those come together.
Yeah, so
it's good.
For me, I remember my dad, my dad would like, he got me low key, like now I think about it, he got me into horror. My dad would just like kind of like throw these like slight like recommendations at me. But The Thing. Ooh, that's a scary movie there. All right, see ya. And so I'm like, oh wow, that's a scary movie, huh? And then like just be ruined.
Exactly what he was doing.
Just be ruined. Like, oh God.
It's like the reverse psychology. It takes a real brave person to see it. Well, all right, I'll see you later.
I love you, son, and just go to work. But man,
here's the remote. Here's the TV guy. But it's scary.
So Nels, you and a mutual friend of ours, we had a conversation the other week about the thing, and you guys said that you understood that this movie not be considered a horror movie, and I was flabbergasted. I couldn't understand where you were coming from. I'm like, how do you watch the thing and not consider it a horror movie? I didn't understand that, because the horror of this movie, not one, I'm a sucker for like body snatcher movies. Like, we don't know, like, I love,
me too. Mwah.
You know,
love them.
Body
All
Snatchers, The Thing. I love The Faculty. I love those kind of movies where like you don't know who to trust and anyone could be an alien. But the special effects of this movie are what makes it scary. The movie itself isn't that scary. It's the monster. When people start turning into, like start freaking out when their blood gets hot and they start turning into a head monster. That's what makes this movie.
Well, I'm not sleeping tonight. Thanks, Mark. Thank you. I only needed one more thing left, and you referencing the monsters of the thing. That is all I needed to not have a restful evening. Thank you.
You remember the dogs in this movie where they go in and dogs are like, the dogs are like, what the hell is that? And then the thing dog.
But Mark, the reason, just to say this again, the thing is very much so a horror movie. It is scary, but it is so good that people don't see it as a horror movie. They see it as a classic Stephen King movie.
I don't get it.
A classic Carpenter movie. But it is a horror movie. I'm telling you, bro, it's not that it's not a horror movie. It's that people don't classify it because of how good it is and who's associated with the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
no, when I saw The Thing for the first time, I think I was like in the 3rd or 4th grade. Again, the 90s. No business near The Thing. No business. But yeah, but whatever. We were latchkey kids. What are you going to do? I saw The Thing in broad daylight, alone in my house in the 90s. When it went off, I ran outside and played outside with friends. And I kept looking at my house to see if my parents' car was home. And I was like, yeah, it's safe to go home in the daylight. And then I went home.
Never again will I be alone.
Never again.
Mark, I gotta say, just to remind us about the 90s. So it's not VHS. What is the small tapes called again?
Oh,
is it Beta?
Betamax.
Betamax.
Yeah.
I had a Betamax player in my room growing up. You know, I don't know. My parents were African. They probably thought it was about to be the jam. Like smaller VHSs, everyone's gonna love this. And then it started not to be cool, so they put it in the youngest kid's room. Whatever.
I don't know. To Nels. Whatever.
There were several movies that were there, like maybe 4 or 5. But my parents secretly loved horror movies. There was 2 movies that I grew up in my room watching. One was RoboCop. Nobody under the age of 10 should ever watch RoboCop, the original RoboCop. I watched RoboCop at 4.
Yes. There's an epidemic of kids too young to be watching RoboCop in the 90s, watching RoboCop.
Mm-hmm.
Gruesome.
It is
gruesome.
The common theme of all of us in this generation. We were all too young to watch it. We all watched it anyway.
Can we take a moment and just what were parents thinking? We're like, he's a robot cop. Kids love cops. Cops are here to protect us. And he's a robot for kids.
No one ever thought of the origin. It's like, how did he become a robot? Oh, he was
severely massacred in broad daylight.
No business. If you're watching RoboCop, your children shouldn't be in your house. They shouldn't even be in the house.
Yes. Oh my God. And Alex Murphy's murder wasn't even the worst thing. It was that mutant This mutant man who crawled out like, help me.
Splattered on the windshield.
Yes, in the windshield.
And the one guy's like, get the hell off me. Help me.
Why was that was not needed in that movie? There was no reason for that to be in that movie.
God.
Oh my god. Anyway,
No
so that was movie number
No
one.
business.
The other movie was Night of the Living Dead.
Oh
Now,
man.
I will say this about 4 and 5-year-old Niels. I was mature enough at that age to know I should not watch this movie. I would like put in 10 minutes and I would see the zombies and I was like, nah,
No.
this isn't. This is the same kid that watched A Werewolf in London.
American Werewolf in London.
American Werewolf in London.
That's a rough one too, man.
That's a bad one.
That's a rough one too when you're a kid.
You can't watch it. But I watched that, knowing I shouldn't, but I could not get through Night of the Living Dead. I was just like, nope, this isn't. I can't do this. I can't do this. So yeah, man. I don't even know when we started talking about this. You're talking about The Thing.
You're watching The Thing in broad daylight and just scaring the crap.
Had no reason. Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you what, man, the special effects in this movie to this day hold up. They're just, and it just goes to show you that a practical effect will always trump CGI. I'm sorry. Now, there's some good CGI out there, but I feel like when it comes to horror, the tangible things like hitting a thing, it's unmatched. It's just something about it that like translates good to horror.
I would also argue one of Kurt Russell's best acting jobs.
And Keith David's in the movie.
And Keith David.
Come on.
Keith David.
Keith
David and Kurt Russell together.
Spoiler, both of them at the and what a great ending to a movie.
What a great ending.
One of the best horror movie endings of all time.
One of the best.
Keith David.
They have been trying to capture that since. They have been trying to follow that up since.
The ending of the movie, spoiler, skip forward if you want to end it, but basically Keith David and Kurt Russell are left, and they're basically like, you could be the alien, I could be the alien. Well, let's see what happens. They just stare each other down, and that's the end of the movie. Let me ask you, Nels, what do you think happens at the end of that movie? What's your fan theory?
This may just be because I love Keith David and black people, but I thought Kurt Russell was the alien. I thought Kurt Russell was the alien, and I Keith David eventually got him.
I think best case scenario, this is the happy ending. They both freeze to death.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the best.
Probably. Realistically, that's what happened. They just freeze to death.
Yeah, that's the best case scenario. And I'll tell you this: a thing, quote unquote, remake comes out, and it's tied to the original thing. And I'll say it was an okay movie. I thought the ending was a brilliant way to connect itself to the original thing movie.
Yeah.
Now, I gotta check them out. Like I've heard about them for years, but I just never watched The Thing. So I got to check that out.
And
you will enjoy it, Shannon. It is the best body snatcher movie there is.
Yeah. It's the
best one.
It is a feast for the eyes of just like practical puppets and gore. It is a gory movie, Shannon, but it is like a gory movie in the best way possible.
Like Aliens gory.
Yeah.
Like good. You're like, oh! But you're with it. You're never removed out of it. You're like, okay, this makes sense in the story.
Yeah.
Yes. And shout out to Alien. That's another monster out there. The Alien, acid blood.
Two things really quickly. One, this is just some of this I've sort of laughed. It's been a constant reminder of like when there's a movie, like there was some meme I saw, but I was like, this is so true. It's like especially as black people, when there's a movie, it's like we're not calling it the movie. Like no one calls Child's Play, like no one black calls Child's Play. It was like, oh, you seen Chucky 1, 2, 3?
Yeah.
or even like, Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I'm sure somebody might be like, what's that? Oh, Freddy Krueger. Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy. Oh, Freddy 2. Woo, Freddy 2. Jason 5. Boy, Jason 5.
Yeah. So I laugh about that. I just wanted to mention that because I'm like, that made me laugh because that's exactly how they were. I was like, even though we're saying, oh, this is the character Chucky, I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, that's the name of the movie, right? That's what we call it. And then the other thing, I just wanted to mention this just really quickly, because we might make this segue and mention Blair Witch Project if we just mention that for a second. But because you made it, I think earlier, Mark, you made a comment, or I'm sorry, I forgot who said it. But anyway, someone made a comment earlier where we were just saying how sometimes the just having like, quote unquote, if it's low budget or anything like that, but just having some of those pieces there trumps like all the extra gore, all the extra graphics and things like that. Just mention that because that's like what Blair Witch Project was. It was like no frills horror, like no frills.
Your imagination is scarier than anything a director can put on screen.
Yes.
And the Blair Witch Project took full advantage of that.
Yeah.
It sure did. It was a thing.
It was a thing.
It was a thing. We all watched it in theaters and everybody was freaking out. It was a thing.
And that's why the Blair Witch is my number 5, because you don't see anything. You don't see a monster. But I tell you what, I was petrified of the Blair Witch.
Yes.
And the fact that she or whatever was in Maryland and I lived in Virginia didn't help either.
It's a hop, skip, jump away.
It did not help.
It is 30 minutes down the road.
The fact
and they wouldn't tell you it was fake. They're just like, this was found footage and so here and there. Like they would like refuse to tell you that it was like a made up story.
And I tell you, man, I would love, fellas, if we get to do a Blair Witch movie, because just the inside scoop on that movie is just so fascinating. Like the actors, they went out into the woods and the director would just leave them notes and just kind of give them like, go here, get and like pretend you lose the map, blah, blah, blah. And then they didn't know what was going to happen like at night or stuff. So yeah, it was like, this kind of like almost snuff film type deal. And just that.
Did what's it called? Improvise that entire movie?
A lot, like, yeah, that movie's improvised pretty much. Like they got notes, but all the acting is improvised.
Man. It's a shame that the Blair Witch killed them all because they could have had some great acting careers.
So yeah, right. And so the part where they're running and she's like, "What is that? What is that?" But you can't see anything. So apparently there was something there, right? The director was like, there was something there, but the camera didn't pick it up. But they thought it was scarier not to be able to see anything, so they just left it as is.
Oh God, that was scary as hell. Yeah. And there really was something there.
It's like, what the heck is that? What is it, man? The Blair Witch. That just proves that atmosphere and your imagination is the scariest thing.
Yeah, that movie cost $700 to make and and grossed however many million. Like, no,
that dude standing. Well, spoilers.
Yeah.
At the end, with that dude standing there, that is one of the top scariest moments I've ever seen in anything ever. Seeing him just standing there like that, I was like,
Nels, I'm with you, man. I remember watching it. I want to say the Blair Witch came out when we were maybe in middle school,
right before high school.
Yeah, and
it was right before high school. Yeah,
when he's standing there and she's just yelling at him like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And then her I'm getting chills just right now. And then her camera just falls to the ground. And it's not like it falls to the ground and they're like, movie over. It holds for like a good 5 seconds. And oh my goodness, just shows you it was guerrilla kind of filmmaking. It took advantage of the internet. It was like, you couldn't make a Blair Witch nowadays because people on TikTok like, 5 reasons why the Blair Witch isn't a real movie, blah, blah, blah. But it's like the naivety that we had back then and not really knowing what a found footage movie was made that movie the phenomenon that it was, and like I give it, and then you hear people, you don't see anything, it's not scary, bro. Like, get out of my face. Like, obviously you're not a horror fan if you're that type of person, because that movie to this day scares
me. And on some real, I'm like, I think, well, I mean, obviously that's why it did so well because there was a Blair Witch Project 2 that came out, and that one actually had like stuff that you saw, and it was like nothing. People
like, what is this?
Yo, look, it was like a lot of new metal and just like the cult stuff, and I was like, what are we watching?
What is this? Yeah, I think they actually still made some money too. Yeah. But
the new one, hey, have you guys seen the new Blair Witch, the most recent one that came out?
No.
So, okay, I'm not going to.
Is it a found footage one?
It is a remake. It ties itself into the first Blair Witch in a very good way. I highly recommend it. If you
really,
if you like, it's one of those movies. If you didn't like the Blair Witch, don't watch it. If you like the first Blair Witch, watch it.
Okay. I have highly regarded your horror movie suggestions since the origin of our friendship. You have yet to steer me wrong. I will check it out. But I do think part of the reason folks hate on the Blair Witch is because they did not want to admit that something made them that scared, but you didn't see anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think it was like, especially because you got to remember, like, we were in middle school and high school. We're, adolescent young men. We didn't want to act like anything scared us. We grew up with Freddy Krueger. We didn't want to act like someone running in the woods and the camera shaking was enough to freak us out. And I think that was part of the hate. It's like, no, I don't want to admit that this thing scared me and I didn't see it.
It's stupid. Nah, man. But turn it off. Turn it off.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. You can't make that much money as a horror movie and not be good. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Anything else, y'all?
Just shout out to on my list, the Terminator, the first Terminator. Just we're gonna wrap up. I'll go into this real quick. I saw Terminator 2 as a child. Again, another movie, no business watching as a child. But for some reason, parents in the 90s, there's a robot in it. Let my kid watch it. So
ABC showed T2 Judgment Day repeatedly.
But no, Nels, my parents rented T2. And I remember as a kid when Arnold's cutting his arm flesh off, and I remember as a kid looking at my parents like, someone do something. I shouldn't be watching this. Help me.
How about the brother hyperventilating with the grenade in the severed arm?
This much longer. Why
did we watch this as kids?
But look, but T2 is for all everything. T2 is an action movie.
It's an action movie, yeah.
It's a violent action movie. It's a fun, violent action movie. So I love T2. I was like, oh man, I love Arnold, the Terminator. This is awesome, John Connor. So I don't know if it was USA Up All Night, Sci-Fi Channel, whatever. I was up late at night as a kid in the 90s, and I saw Terminator, the first Terminator. I was like, oh man, this is the first one. I'm gonna watch it.
Little did you know.
Little did I know that James Cameron made a horror movie that just happened to have a android from the future as your monster. That movie is terrifying.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a common thread among our generation, because I mean the same exact thing happened to me. Like I saw T2 and then I saw Terminator 1 like years later.
Yeah.
So it was
that's all of us, brother. We all watched T2 first.
Yeah.
T2 was a thing in the 90s, y'all. Like T2 was a thing. And none of us had watched the Terminator.
No.
Yeah.
And Arnold from the get-go is a horror movie villain in that movie. Just even when he still has his flesh, and he's just like, are you Saracana? And just it's so scary. But then when they blow him up and he's the actual T-1000 and it's like kind of claymation back in the day, and he's coming after them and he's crawling after Sarah in the factory, just like ruined me as a kid, man. I was like, I don't like this. This is robots are fun. Johnny 5 is fun. R2D2 is fun. Why is this robot so?
You shouted out Short Circuit.
Chappie's great.
Shout out to Short Circuit.
Chappie's a natural.
Oh my goodness. And shout out to Chucky. We didn't talk about Chucky. We did a little bit. Child's Play. these dolls scare the mess out of me. My sister had a hand in it. She had like what was the equivalent of like Chucky's dolls, like My Friend or something like that.
My Buddy.
You guys had My Buddy?
We had a My Buddy doll in my house. And this is what my sister did. I hope you're listening, Yvonne. This is what my sister did. She would hang up the My Buddy doll. Like she would have like either her door open or my cousin's door open, who lives with us, have the My Buddy doll hang from the closet door. So when you walk by, you have to see the My Buddy doll. Like it is an eye vision. And so I would like, well, I'm not going to the bathroom. I'm clearly just going to pee in the bed because I can't have Chucky staring at me knowing I'm not in the safety of my bedroom. And then she turned it up a notch and started moving the doll. And so anytime I walk by the room, the doll would be at a different place. And years later, she told me she did that just to mess with me. She was like, yes, I knew you were like super afraid of Chucky. And I knew that the My Buddy doll, like I didn't like the doll. I just like messing with you. I was like, yeah, that's my sister, y'all.
She sounds like a Scooby-Doo villain. Like, just like, and my goal was to get nails out of that room because I had treasure there.
Accurate. Never read her diary.
That sounds terrifying. Yeah. It's terrifying that you had a My Buddy doll.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tell you what, I'm with you, Nels. I don't have like a fear of dolls, but I don't like them. And to this day, I'm a grown man. I'm on the wrong side of my 30s. I will admit this. I do not treat dolls, stuffed animals, or anything like that without respect. I to this day
place them down on the ground. You don't
gently place them. Nicely like I cannot be mean to a doll or a stuffed animal because that just be my luck.
You never know.
That just be my luck. That some ancient wizard or some cultist like. And so I'm telling you, man, my kids, they got all these dolls and all these stuffies. I gently stack them in their toy box. I like basically tuck these things in. I'm like, all right, is everyone stacking?
Because you never know. You never know.
Is everyone comfortable? Is everyone?
So if something does pop off, they'll always be like, well, nobody else is safe. But Mark, you always treated us nicely.
Mark,
you get a pass.
Mark, you're good with me. Oh, God.
Just a quick thing is, as we mentioned dolls and horror and things like that, have you all seen the trailer for It's a Movie? Megan.
Why do you let you finish it?
Yeah.
Yes. Maxine. Or Megan. Megan.
Yeah. Man.
Sorry, Shannon. Sorry to interrupt you.
That thing looks creepy. Again, it's like a modern day because it's got like AI in it and all this type of stuff. And what really goes off the rails is, she's like, my job is to protect the girl. And so she's obviously harming people around her. But the craziest thing, there's a clip where she's dancing.
Yes.
I'm like, man,
Shannon,
no, I'm not seeing this.
Yes.
No, I'm out.
Yes. She's dancing. It's like in a hallway and the guy's looking at her. She's like, she's dancing like she's on the Ed Sullivan show or something.
She's dancing like a background dancer in a Britney Spears music video.
Yeah.
And she's killing it.
Dancing like she's like in an Elvis Beach movie in the 50s.
She's killing it. And you just see this stiff head, no facial reaction, and this doll just getting it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was creepy, bro. It was creepy.
I will be seeing Megan though. Now, I can't wait for
I'm
Megan.
not watching Black Adam when it comes out. But Megan,
I will be. Yeah, I can't wait to see Megan.
There. I'm definitely gonna be there for that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Real quick, speaking of dolls, I recommend the Chucky series on Sci-Fi. Really, really good. Really good. Just like a fun horror show. And it's actually a sequel to the Chucky series from like the 90s. It's actually kind of it like picks up, yeah, in an interesting way. It picks up from the Chucky series, so like really, really good.
Yeah,
highly recommend it, man. It's got like a 91 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Amazing. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I gotta check it out. As really much good. Fear and restless nights that Chucky has given me my entire life, I owe it to him to watch his series on Sci-Fi. All right, gentlemen. Anything else before we wrap up the show?
That is it. I'm going to be sleeping with the lights on tonight.
Yeah, I am running to the room after this. So yeah, I keep hearing footsteps going on upstairs. I'm freaking out. All right, y'all. Well, thank you all for listening. We have a new episode every month. You can find us on all social media at Pop Cult Parent, POPCULTPARENT. Visit us at www.popcultparent.com. Email us at popcultparent@gmail.com. Don't forget to rate us, review, and subscribe. And as always, join the cult. Peace.
Hey, take care, boys and ghouls.